Great to have you here again. And let's talk about what's happening in the spring market. I know I saw a stat that kind of shocked me. I saw the first month over month, so March of last year to March of this year, for the average sales price in Burlington, slightly down.
Yes.
For the first time since, COVID, I would say things have just been skyrocketing. So does that mean that the sky is falling and that the market's, heading down like other places in the country, or what do you think? What do you see?
No, I feel like Vermont is a very niche area.
Yeah.
I don't think we're following the national trends because
True.
There's such a shortage of inventory.
That's right.
In particular communities. I mean, how do you feel about the inventory?
Yeah, I think I did a little research on this, and there's about 350,000 homes or units in the state, and we're like at least 35 or 36,000 homes short, like for buyers that are looking for a home versus how many we have. So, when you have the restrictions around Act 250 and local permitting and the cost of construction and labor, cost of living in this area, I don't see how we could have the scales of supply and demand get out of whack, because people want to be here.
Absolutely.
Even though it is expensive.
Expensive, yep.
It's also beautiful, and people want to be here. So I think you're totally right that we may see some flattening, and things would have to really be getting crazy to start to see it actually heading down.
Yes.
I mean, what I saw was I think it was like a 0.25% or something. It was like minuscule. It could have just been an error of it going flat. So I wouldn't be surprised if next month we see it's still rising.
Yes, and also in that time frame, obviously we're in spring market.
Yeah.
And while we're seeing people leave Vermont because of affordability, we're also seeing people come to Vermont, in particular from down south. Like Texas is huge. A lot of Texans moving up here.
Yeah, another agent on our team, I think, did 3 deals from people out of Texas last year. And that's just one agent on our team. I think that's a key point that you're hitting on, is you got to be careful when you're looking at these statistics, because we're so seasonal up here. Like, yes, people are buying and selling throughout the whole year, and there's definitely a ramp up in springtime. And so is that slight blip in the sales price just have to do with maybe it being a longer and more brutal winter than it was like the year before? So the spring rush hadn't quite happened the way it did last year yet.
That's right. Like, we haven't seen the influx of listings the way that we do in previous years, but the winter was very brutal.
Yeah.
And hung on for a while.
It did. I know. I posted a video, I think last week, of there's just 2 or 3 inches of snow falling, in spring. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So with that ramping up of the spring market, does that just mean that it's great opportunity for buyers or sellers, or does it make a difference? What do you think?
So I think right now it's a great opportunity for buyers to get into the market now, because we're starting to see the listings come on. I think the other day I saw in one day we had 20 listings come on.
Yeah.
In one particular area, I can't recall the area, but with that, you will also have the opportunity for, if it's priced correctly, it's also a benefit for sellers, depending on the demand.
Yes.
Like Chittenden County.
Yes.
Especially in a particular price range. Like, what are you seeing with the price ranges?
Yeah, if you price it right. I mean, there's definitely a point where you get into luxury, where there's not as many buyers, not as much buyer demand.
Right.
But as long as you're keeping it more around that average sales price, or even, I would say below $1 million when you're in parts of Chittenden County, there's so much demand.
Yes.
And that's the other part too that people don't understand. And the way I think about it is, yes, there's lots of listings coming on, and there's lots of buyers that are coming out of their caves their hobbit holes, and it's time, right? And so they kind of both rise together. And what we can do as agents is help our clients exploit those little imbalances, or at least have the right tactics to get the best chance
That's right.
at the buyer finding the best buyer opportunity, or the seller listing in the optimal way at the optimal time. I mean, for example, you were just telling me about somebody that had chose to list for sale by owner. We'll leave off any addresses or specifics or anything, but you could tell right away that they were doing themselves a huge disservice by trying to save a few percent in commission.
Right.
Tell me more about that.
So I would say you only have one shot, right, to make an impression.
Yeah.
And the photos, there was no light.
Yeah.
It was the kitchen was broken up into like 3 different photos. It just, we couldn't tell anything. I had a buyer that was very interested in it, and when I went there, it was a gorgeous property.
It didn't do it justice online.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I immediately was like, if they had better pictures, they wouldn't, because they must have called to confirm our appointment like 4 times, because we're the only ones who had reached out, and it's in a great location. It's a great property. And
you had said that you looked at comps and the price was right too.
It was.
So if it was marketed properly, it would have already been under contract and probably for well above list price, as we're seeing with some of our listings that go with that strategy. And so you're hitting on an important point, which is you don't have just one showing. Even if there is one physical showing that happens that leads to an offer, it's really about how many people are starting online. Everybody. And if it doesn't show well online with those photos, I mean, there's a reason why we use the best professional real estate specific photographers that we can find in the state here, because that is your first showing. If you don't get people from online to in the door, they never get the chance to fall in love and get that multiple offers to drive you up from there. So, you know, what's the quote that our shared mentor Brian loves to use is look at the donut, not the hole. People get so caught up in I'm saving a few percent in commission that they don't realize they could be leaving 5-10% or more on the table. And I think the stats actually bear that out when you look at across the whole country, for sale by owner average sales price versus listed sales price. Do you remember what the number is? It was shocking.
I believe it was like I think it was like 90. Is it 90?
I thought it was even more. I thought that it was like
98 or something.
Well, I thought it was like 16% lower for sale by owner.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're trying, and most of those people, I think the number you're thinking of is that it's 90% of people, or 95, have at least one agent involved in every deal.
Yeah.
So there's a very high, over 9 out of 10, that there's at least going to be a buyer's agent involved. And so really you're just saving a part of the commission and potentially leaving 10-15% on the table and stuff.
Right, and they don't have anybody to advocate for them.
Of course.
When you're up against a professional, you're not going to know how to negotiate, or something could be in the light of this is a serious issue, but it's really not.
Yeah. And it's, I think a lot of it also is, you might be a great negotiator, you might be a great photographer, you might be great at marketing, but you also don't know what you don't know, as we find out the hard way every day in this career, in this job. Like, there are just questions that you wouldn't even know to ask until you kind of find out the hard way. And so that's what I tell our clients a lot of the times is, learn from our mistakes. Take advantage of that. Save the time, the money, and the headaches.
That's right.